broke by the Greenlight podcast with Chris Long's Twitter account that Tom E. Curran said on NBC Sports Boston that basically the decision's already been made. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots are going to part ways at the end of the season. That decision came after the loss to the Indianapolis Colts in beautiful Germany.
Sure.
Robert Kraft and the people that Tom E. Curran talked to, he didn't say it was the Krafts, but the people he talked to in the building had decided at that point they're moving on from Bill Belichick. Since that point, not a lot of great has happened other than the primetime win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Tom E. Curran basically reiterated the fact on NBC Sports Boston that from his understanding and from his, it was like a matter of fact that they're moving on from Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Ty Schmidt, we obviously have relationships with Tom E. Curran. We've seen him at his lake house.
Sure.
We've seen him at his house.
With Bo.
We've seen him at bingo.
Yep.
We've seen him at work. We've seen him. We know Tom E. Curran.
Oh, yeah.
Tom E. Curran's been covering the Patriots a long time. Tom E. Curran has connections in the New England Patriots world. I said, I don't envy your position to Robert Kraft. What Tom E. Curran was basically saying is that the decision's already been made. We reached out to him to get a little clarity. What did you learn in that conversation with him? He's saying this is just what's happening, or how did he kind of reiterate the message to you?
Yeah, very similar to that. He basically said that as of that time in Germany, that the decision kind of had already been made based on who he is talking to in terms of his sources. He didn't say whether it was in the organization or just sources that he has close to the team that would be in the know. And then he said, now things could change. It's possible things could change. But he said you look at post-Colts game, like, things haven't gotten better. Like, granted, they won on Thursday night. But he said,
great win over Pittsburgh Steelers.
But he said Matt got benched, get beat by the Giants, get beat at home 6-0 by the Chargers. So he said, yeah, things could change, but as of the Germany game, when he was talking to his sources, the decision had already been made. And that's not his opinion. And it's not like necessarily a statement of fact either, but from what he is hearing, like, that decision had already been made after the Colts game in Germany.
That tweet from Chris Long's Greenlight podcast,
Yes.
that one went.
Yeah.
It went. It said per NBC, too. Didn't even say, like, NBC Sports Boston, which I think would have even more would have amplified it all, which is where Tom E. Curran is. They have since deleted that tweet, I think put another tweet out that kind of, like, re-clarified it. But that thing went. Yeah. And yesterday, all of a sudden, I'm on the internet, and I'm just having a little time, and I just one little refresh of the thing, and it was Bill Belichick's gone from New England pretty much. Decision's been made. That's pretty much what happened whenever Tom E. Curran says this thing, and then it gets kind of amplified by everybody. How'd Boston and New England respond to this? I assume it got loud over there pretty quickly?
Yeah, it got loud. I think a lot of people are split on it just because, like we said on Monday, people don't really
Hair looks sweet.
Thank you very much.
That's at Boston Connor.
It's finally here. It's finally got here. But first thing with Tom Curran.
That stash is good, too.
Nobody
Stash is really good, too.
Thank you. Nobody knows
He found out the
New England
ratio of the stash.
Yeah, JC.
Yep.
Shout out to the back porch barber.
Yeah, shout out.
He got it. He nailed it.
Yeah, the mustache looks really good.
Yeah. Good to go?
Is that about a 2 o'clock shadow?
Yeah, so it's 1, actually.
There's more wolf.
I've been going 2, but it's a 1. He said 3-day scruff.
I want to let you know, you can even drop that down to noon.
I was thinking about it.
Mustache is really good. You should maybe just let that thing shine.
Well,
you know what I mean? Spotlight that thing.
No, absolutely. I think I'm going stash beer just because the stash people already have. I got to do my own little flair with it.
Parker McCollum, introduced light ranching into my life.
Bingo.
And then also word curtain as a mustache.
I like that one.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
This might be light stashing.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, not bad there.
Yeah,
how's the stashing up in New England, though, with the news that Tom E. Curran basically said after the Germany game, lost to the Colts? Sorry about it. Oh, my God.
It was a huge game.
Was it the Colts?
Could have been.
Sounds like.
Oh, my God.
This would be back.
That's what Tom E. Curran was reporting. I'll tell you what, Indianapolis Colts people need to hear that because there's a lot of bad days.
Yeah, Kraft was like,
Oh,
oh,
bad
my
days.
God, we lost to the Colts.
Well, and if you think about what Jim Irsay did last year against the New England Patriots,
Bingo.
Immediately after losing to the Patriots, you get out of here. And he hired an old ball player, Jeff Saturday, to be after the New England game. That's funny to think that rivalry felt like a genuine one, a real one. But let's go back to what Tom E. Curran said in the reaction. Whenever that thing runs and everybody kind of across the football world hears that and just assumes like, okay, that decision's been made, how does New England react? Are they pissed at Tom E. Curran for saying this, or what is it all,
I don't think they're pissed because Tom, genuinely, you mentioned it, he's worked for, covering the Patriots for 28 years, 27 years, and every year.
That's a lot of sources.
Yeah, a lot of sources. Well, a lot of people.
Whoa.
How many sources are still still around 27 years ago, whatever, who cares? He is spot on every year with how the team's going to do. So like Tom Curran, when it comes to like the X's and O's of the Patriots, I personally believe he is one of, if not the best guy to listen to when it comes to expectations. I mean, shit, he came on last year and he talked about before the season, this isn't a 10-win team. This is 9-8, 8-9. What'd they do? They went 8-9, max rookie year. He said if Matt could play well, this team is going to do well. 10-7, go to the playoffs. So when Tom Curran speaks about the Patriots team, I always listen because I genuinely believe what he says. When it comes to this, and when it comes to anything that comes out of sources, and I believe the term was used, sources he had at the time in the know. What a ridiculous statement. What
Look at you writing notes.
What an asinine thing to say. Even if that is, what the situation is. What a sellout, buffoon type of thing to say. If you're going to report on something, report it and say, my source says, insert whatever bullshit quote you want. But to dance around it like that, I have a problem with. I wouldn't believe Jonathan Kraft if he came out and said, yeah, we've made a decision. Oh. It's going to come down to Bill and Bob sitting in a room, and whatever thoughts were before that are out the door. It's essentially going to be like Kraft, Bill, and Tom, when Kraft had to kind of mend the fences of Tom and Bill because there was that report that it did get pretty hectic in 2017. They mend fences. They win the Super Bowl in 2018, and then 2019 he leaves. But until that happens, no, I'm not going to listen to anything that comes out. They could report that the decision has been made every single week from here until the draft, and I won't believe it until Bill Belichick's talking about it or Robert Kraft's talking about it. And that's just the state that it's in, just because so much shit gets out. So much. How many times in the offseason do we have to dance around sources telling somebody about something, about a player that's entering the draft, about a relationship with the team, a la Stephon Diggs and the Bills? Like, sure, there can definitely be smoke where there's fire, and I would be an absolute idiot to say that there's no way he gets fired. That's a real situation, and it's possible. But no, I'm not going to believe a source who is in the know at the time on an opinion that it could be right. Definitely, Tom could 100% be right, and the decision could be made, and it could be done. That Bill is gone. But it's very, very hard to believe that in the middle of a season, to Bill Belichick, they decide, you know what? You lost to the Colts overseas in Germany with Mac Jones throwing 2 interceptions inside the 10-yard line. This one's on you, Bill. Time to go. Pack your shit. We're not sticking with it anymore. I just don't believe that. But Tom Curran, as a Patriots reporter, unbelievable best.
I do love that you started that with people aren't mad at Tom.
No.
People aren't, and then he wrote his quote down. And so what a buffoonery, terrible, asinine, I believe you even threw in there.
That's the P. I don't know if the people feel that way, because some people obviously do want a new regime and they do want to see a change. But me personally, as someone who comes on here all the time and we talk about reports and how much bullshit using fake sources or terminology like in the know at the time and how ridiculous that is. And I think it kind of, seeing the tweets and other things get deleted, I think kind of shines a light on maybe how that article was received by, the people through the ears of Tom Curran. And we'll see if he says anything today. I assume he's got a few shows to go on to talk about it, which would make sense just because it is.
That is not what we heard.
What?
I don't think he's going.
Tom's laying low today.
What? Really? He's not doing any shows today?
He doesn't have anything more to add.
Oh, okay.
He said in the know at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's kind of like, this is kind of like.
But once again, Tommy Curran was probably just trying to answer a question that was handed to him. You know what I mean? It's not his fault that that's how he answered it. Now, granted, he should know that the fallout of that is going to be immense.
Yeah, Tom.
And the only reason why I think he should know that is because the reason why they started this thing is because I told Robert Kraft, I don't envy your position, and he shook my hand. Mm-hmm. I didn't even ask a question, give a statement. I didn't even say, hey, I don't envy that you're going to have to make that hard decision to, let him go. That he might extend Bill Belichick. That's not an easy thing to have to do right now, especially with how the conversation is going. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to move to a new quarterback, obviously. That's a whole other thing. And then if he is to let go, which I'm not saying he's going to, it's one of the potential you have to let go of the greatest head coach and the great. You heard the way I think. You have to let go of the greatest head coach and greatest GM of all time. Those are 2 roles that you have to. That's not easy at all. No. I appreciate you bringing up the fact, though, that at some point they're going to get into a room together.
Yes.
And there's going to be a lot discussed, I would say. Mm-hmm. maybe hopefully even a little nostalgia.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because you're listening to Robert Kraft talk, and I got a chance to chat with him during a commercial break and obviously on the show as well. One of his first answers to Herbstreit, whenever he asked him about why all of his businesses do, the Patriots do good, but also he has a lot of other businesses, and they all do well. And one of his big things is like loyalty, you know, like we keep people around a long time. Like that's a big part of our entire, a pillar of all of our businesses is people working for us for a long time. And so they know, they get the culture, they do that whole thing. So it's like, whenever you think about that, and then you go back to the fact that I heard, I don't know if it came from him or somebody he was, I think it was somebody he was with. You know how many like home playoff wins they had in the first 37 years the Patriots existed? It was like one. And, you know, in the last 30 years since this guy's been the owner, it's like 30 something or something. It's like a complete, and a lot of that is obviously because during the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era.
For sure.
So Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft have a lot of history. And then there was those quotes whenever the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick stuff was happening where Robert Kraft was going down an elevator and he was caught coming out of the elevator and he said, I got to go deal with the biggest asshole in my life, Bill Belichick. And that like, whoa, this is how Robert Kraft feels. He's picking Tom Brady over Bill Belichick because he doesn't like him. So there's been so much that has come out since Tom Brady's release.
Yeah.
You could tell Robert Kraft has great respect for Bill Belichick. Very loyal and thankful for Bill Belichick. So this is not an easy time at all for anybody. And he mentioned how this is 30 years owning team, never been like this before.
No.
So once again, I don't envy your position having to do all this. In the end, if Bill Belichick stays, I think he wins.